here in this stream. I'm sorry it took a little longer, but if you want to join our lobby, it's just going to be a generic Xfinity Series thing. First race, I'm going to do Atlanta, so, I mean, if you can jump in really fast, that'd be great, but anyway, this is our first ever NASCAR Heat 2 stream right here on WUB Network. I'm happy to be doing this, and I hope everyone enjoys it. Hope everyone's having a great Wednesday, great middle of the week. So, I mean, if you can't jump in here on this first one, that's fine. I'm just going to go in alphabetical order with the tracks. I might skip a couple that I don't really have much interest in, but as you see if you read the description, there's a lot of stuff coming in the next few days in the channel. I'm going to be having some NBA stuff, and also the Progressive Cup Series race will be out on Sunday. So while you're here, if you're not going to be playing, I am more than happy to be answering some questions. And Sniper, I am aware of that. I did see on Crash's channel that he put that, so I'll keep my eyes peeled for something like that. Trey Rogers, yes, I do. I do have an Xbox One. That's what I am playing on right now. If you just pan down, that's an Xbox One. That's a 360. I still have both. I used the 360 to play NBA 2K16 because I like that game still a lot, and MLB because for some stupid reason 2K stopped making their baseball games, and the newest one is 2K13, and that's not even on Xbox One, so. And I play NASCAR Heat 2 and Madden on the Xbox One that I got for Christmas. So this is the first race here at Atlanta. You'll be able to see it's just an Xfinity lobby hosted by me if you want to join in. Just 4 people in this race, and like 2 of them have already dropped out of the race, so this should be rather simple. There is 1 person still racing me. This Edward Thornhill thing, though, just seems a little shifty because he's not going that slow. I hope he's not waiting up for me. Atlanta is one of my better tracks. I've probably run almost all the tracks in this game now by this point. Trey Rogers, it's just WUB Network. It's one word. You can see it up there. It's WUB Network, but no space. And the N is capitalized, and obviously WUB is capitalized. And the party is just Xfinity Series. And yeah. So also, if you notice this paint scheme I'm driving, this is going to be Jamie Rockwell's Xfinity Series paint scheme, because he is going to make a few starts in the Xfinity Series that is going to start next weekend. I wish there was the same limestone butter. I mean, that would be pretty easy. I wish there was a way that Xbox and PS4 could race together, because that would create much more exciting parties. Hi, Brandon Little Gaming. Brendan Little Gaming. So anyway, this is the paint scheme. It's Florida Lottery and NASCAR Heat Mobile that Jamie Rockwell is going to run in a few select races. And I'll be controlling him. I'll be showing you the whole selection process as to who I control during the races. And honestly, at this point, I haven't decided or settled upon what the difficulty is going to be. As now I realize I'm 2 laps ahead of everybody. I'm the only person in this race, but whatevs. Back to that, I don't really know what difficulty it's going to be, so selecting what driver I'll be really is going to depend. I don't know what it's really going to depend on. Hi, NASCAR Jack, Limestone Butter, hope you enjoy. I gotta see if it's going to be an advantage or a disadvantage, so I don't really know, but I have decided the process for selecting which driver I will be. What I can tell you right now is that I will be Jamie Rockwell in race 1 at Daytona, and I believe Charlotte. And this is online on Xbox One, NASCAR Jack. It's an Xfinity Series online party hosted by me. And I'm now 3 laps ahead of everybody, so it's official. Everyone else has gotten out of the race. Just 2 laps left. So yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. We're going to have some more NBA videos. I mean, if anyone saw, I was trying to do a Celtics-Cavs game, but it didn't go well. NASCAR Jack, it's fine. We've only got 4 people, and really everyone else dropped out of this race. Yes, it is. So, a couple people should be joining, so hopefully for the next race. I mean, I just created this party, and I stupidly forgot to invite anybody, so that's kind of my fault, but I mean, I'll win the race, so I can tell you right now, I have not been that good at racing online, and I always end up finding myself wrecked, because I really hate it when you join a party, you think you're going to race well, but it's with like 15 other people, and then there's those knuckleheads that decide to not even hit the gas right on the start, and then you get in a chain reaction crash, and you end up spinning around 10 times. Let me slide my way through. Whoa, that almost looks like a Davey Allison accident. And a 98 speed rating, but it's not that difficult because I finished 5 laps ahead of the field. So that was the first race. I'm probably going to do, I'm going to say at least 5. Probably between 5 and 10, so if you want to join in, jump right in. That was race number 1. They're 4% races, so they are not going to be that long, as you can see. And I mean, being an Xfinity race, that'll shorten it even more. Just 7 laps here at Atlanta, which is not like some humongous track, so thanks to everybody who's tuning in here on this Wednesday night for this. I'm going to try to do one of these every couple of weeks. And I might live stream some Skip McGinnis next week. So Auto Club now. Remember, if you want to join in, it's WUB Network, a normal lobby, hosted by me, Xfinity Series, all tracks. I am going to go ahead and invite a couple people. So I'll just wait patiently. I know there's a lot of parties in the game, but I mean, I just wanted to start one of my own. Hey, NASCAR Jack. Alright, so we got somebody to race here. Hopefully it expands. The last time I did this, this was before I had figured out how to do the live streaming. And that was about 2 weeks ago. And we got up to, I think, 10 people that were racing. And I think 7 of which were from the channel, so that was great. Of course, the other 3 that joined in weren't necessarily the cleanest of racers. So a Racing Auto Club, I will tell you, is one of my better tracks on the game. And now we're back up to 4 more who will be racing, but fortunately I'll be starting on the pole because it's whenever I have to start towards the back that I end up falling apart. So 6 laps at Auto Club. I was actually expecting a little shorter. I was expecting maybe 5, but 6 laps here at Auto Club. Now there's 5 in the race. Back to 4. And I don't know if any of you guys saw, I don't know if you guys subscribe to YouTube, YOUTOO, but he did put a video up on his channel that he saw on Twitter for NASCAR Heat 2 that they have been working on testing and creating the Charlotte road course for the 2018 reboot of the game, and a bunch of new cars. They've got the new Chevy Camaro for NASCAR that they were testing, and the rumor is that they're hoping by Daytona 500 weekend to have that pack out so that you can move to 2018. For me, I'm not going to do that till I finish the Xfinity Series, which honestly I might do rather quickly and just film the races just so I could make the switch. Let me focus on this race now. And NASCAR Jack, I don't know what happened there. He just didn't go. And there goes everybody again. So this will be one of the more boring races once again, but I will, to keep your attention, I do have another story that I wanted to share that I don't know, I mean, if you guys have Twitter, you should, if not, you should really get it, because there's some very interesting NASCAR shenanigans that go on. Always one of the big debates in NASCAR are all about those ridiculously slow drivers that just really get on your nerves. And it's not because they're bad drivers. I mean, in some cases it is. But it's because they just don't have the right parts. But because of past racing experience and running well 25 years ago, I mean, things have changed since. So, and now I see NASCAR Jack, you are still here in the race. But they still get provisionals. So they get locked into the race. So Mike Harmon puts up on Twitter a picture of his number 74 Dodge, which, first of all, I have no idea how he's allowed to run a Dodge when Dodge doesn't even have a partnership with NASCAR anymore. But nevertheless, that he'll be back in the 74 unsponsored Xfinity car once again for full time in 2018. Hi, Kyle Busch Fan 1. But what the puzzling thing was, then Brandon Brown, who, if you don't know, he on this game, he drives, I'm trying to remember what college that is, I think Coastal Carolina, Xfinity and trucks. Whoops, and there I go into the wall. He pretty much goes into a Mike Harmon bash fest on Twitter. And he starts going off about these teams where they'll say they have a transmission issue and start the race 12 laps down and end up causing a crash. And he got ripped apart on Twitter. And that, because the other big argument in his thing was that since he's young, he doesn't get that provisional. So and multiple times he says that drivers like Mike Harmon have been the reason that he's missed races. Kyle Busch Fan, I have not seen your most recent race, but I'll check it out soon. But the big argument that comes with that is that all these people started looking into Brandon Brown's past statistics, and they found that he has, in the past, raced in provisional cars, because there have been races, and it's specifically at road courses, and this is when he really becomes a scapegoat for all this, because at least you have these guys that are doing it full-time or not at all. It seems that there have been times that he's been a selective provisionaler. That sounds completely bad grammar. But what I'm saying is that he jumps into the 90 of Mario Gosselin, which for whatever reason, Mario Gosselin Racing's team gets a provisional and gets into the race. And he's done this at road courses, at Pocono, at Michigan, all these big tracks, because Brandon Brown is better at short tracks and mile and a halves, and gets himself into the race. So now everyone who was in that argument is actually turning against Brandon Brown, who's the person who actually brought up the argument. And Mike Harmon, of course, is fed up with Brandon Brown, and since then, someone, I don't know who, hi NASCAR Fan 1, has created a Twitter account called Mike Harmon Fanatics for support of Mike Harmon through all this. And it's got almost 200 followers, including Mike Harmon, who retweets almost every single thing they put up. So, fact of the matter is, the argument about ridiculously slow cars in NASCAR races remains heated, whether you're Brandon Brown or Mike Harmon, and Mike Harmon is getting a lot of support from people, even if he's going to be just as slow this year as he is every other year. And first place in this one, I mean, not that much of a challenge. I slam into the wall at the end. So it's a couple wins, but I mean, not at the most impressive. So once again, if you want to join in, just go to my party. It's Xfinity Series, WUB Network, and if you weren't around at the beginning of the stream, the car that I'm running, this is Jamie Rockwell's Xfinity paint scheme that I will be running in a few races for the Xfinity Series this year. And NASCAR Fan 1, that is an important point, because if you didn't just see, Mike said that Mike Harmon is only famous for that Bristol Busch crash in 2002, and if you go on Twitter, Mike Harmon's Twitter profile is just this. He's NASCAR driver for the number 74 in the Xfinity Series. Check out my Bristol crash in 2002 on YouTube. So it's almost like he's promoting the fact that he almost got killed in an accident 15 years ago. And I don't know if he's trying to live that up or what, but it's just really weird. And I've won 10 races. I see Sized Leopard recently added me as a friend. So let me add him back. Hello. To whoever that just was. I just caught that at the very end. I don't know why it wouldn't do that. But anyway. Okay, we're up to 4 people. 4 people watching the stream. 4 people racing. Stevos Network. I'm gonna say that I've had some problems with figuring out picture quality. I understand that I am recording with a tripod off of a camera. I am gonna try one thing. I don't know if it'll work. I don't know 100% for sure if that works at all, so please let me know. If not, let me just see what this does. I am going to have to start figuring out the picture quality. Progressive Cup Series full races. Of course, we had one a couple weeks ago at Eldora, and there will be a new one on Sunday. Stevos Network, thanks for the tip. I'm going to try that next time. So, I apologize if it's a little blurry. I'm going to do another one of these next week, so I'll follow that. But yeah, so Progressive Cup Series at the Glen will be on Sunday. And then, as you saw, I have a big announcement coming soon. And, I mean, it's a couple of big announcements. And one of which pertains to the Progressive Cup Series race. Stevos Network, thanks a lot. I'll be using that. Thanks for that tip. I'll be doing that next time. So, thanks for the tip. Live streaming is new to me. I just started doing it a couple weeks ago. I didn't see all that. If you have a question, please let me know. And I just spun and somehow still found myself in 3rd place. NASCAR Jacks on the wall. Hi, Caleb. As I'm in 3rd place right now. And I ended up in the wall. But anyway, next time I will try that share on YouTube thing through the Xbox instead of through the phone, because I understand that recording off the screen isn't necessarily the clearest. Bristol is not one of my best tracks, and that's perfect evidence. And I'm gonna fall back a little. So after winning the first 2 races with virtually no competition, I've got a lot of work to do if I want to do the same here. 9 laps to go. And I just bounce off the wall every single corner here. Jim Dean, and that was not his fault, that was mine. So I just saw that question about Michael McDowell. Now, I do this, if you wonder how I do the Progressive Cup Series races, most of it is randomness in terms of the finishes. There's a mess in front of me. Let's see if I can take advantage here, and I will get back to 3rd, maybe not. So I do know Michael McDowell has crashed a lot, so has Joey Gase and Clint Boyer. Those are the 3 I've heard about, and then obviously I've also heard all the people freaking out that Kyle Busch and Joey Logano run well. I mean, they should. But the whole issue that goes along with that is that I try to do it random. And Michael McDowell, I mean, is not a great driver, and I didn't realize how many wrecks I had involved him in until I looked back, and I realized that in the first 10 races of the season, he was involved in a wreck in 4 races, and then blew an engine in another. He wrecked at Daytona, he wrecked at Martinsville, he wrecked at Los Angeles, he wrecked at Talladega, and he blew his engine at Phoenix. So, and I think he blew a tire in another race too. LOL Stevos Network. So, that's the whole argument with that. So, McDowell, I'll try to... I mean, he'll probably be better next year. And as you've seen, my roster, I am not staying strictly with what is the real roster this year in NASCAR. He is going to be taking over the 27 regardless. Reason being that if Brennan Poole ends up being the one who takes over the 27, I've already had him set to race in the Xfinity Series on this game. And in this series, so he's not going to be moving because I'm not changing that Xfinity Series roster. So McDowell will be in that. Landon Castle still gets his ride with Front Row Motorsports. Reason being because obviously in this world, he won the race at Talladega. So Front Row Motorsports is not going to kick him out unless he were to get a better ride. And I am not going to stick Landon Castle at Front Row Motors at Richard Childress Racing. McDowell's already in a Chevrolet. It's the smartest thing. Kyle Busch, fan 1. What place am I? I'm in 4th place right now. Let's see if I can get 3rd place. Once again, I'm kind of sorry about the blurriness, because that's probably the reason for that question, but Steve-O's Network, thanks for the tip. I will use that next time. Hey, I got a 105 speed rating. NASCAR Fan 1, the reason why the quality is bad is because I am filming on a phone on a tripod. So, and congrats NASCAR Jack on the win there. So that's the reason. Next time I promise I'm going to do it better and clearer, and I'm going to, at least for these NASCAR ones. The basketball, I don't know necessarily, because the Xbox 360 always acts up if I try to do anything relating to online, so I'm gonna try to see. So, Fresh Avocado, opinions on the 2018 season. Obviously, I know you mean Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series, so I think Truex has a really good shot at winning the championship again. It's now we're up to 9 racers. And let's see. Wow, we got a lot of racers that I've gotten into incidents with in the last few days on here. But anyway, so I think Truex has a really good shot. I think Kyle Busch is going to really battle back strong this year. I think Logano is coming back strong and is going to have a good season. I think Jimmy Johnson is going to improve. I see Larson taking a little bit of a step back, nothing major. I think Keselowski is going to have a really good year. My early season prediction for Final Four is, I'm going to say Truex, Logano, Johnson, and Kyle Busch. That's my early season Final Four. I know people are going to freak out, but I don't see Chase Elliott getting that first win this year. I know switching to the 9, I think he's going to have much more success. He will make the playoffs. He'll probably go far, but I still don't see him getting his first win. Daniel Suarez will remain winless. Ryan Blaney is going to have a big year with Penske, and I think he could possibly get to that Final Four. He will definitely win at least a race or two. I think Eric Jones is going to get his first win. And maybe the big surprise, I think William Byron is going to race well, as will Alex Bowman. I think Byron is not going to get his first win. He's had all that success in the truck and Xfinity. But I don't know 100% for sure about that. About him getting his first win. I do think that with the experience Alex Bowman has and how he ran back when he was with Dale Jr. and My Car's Out of Control, and oh no, I think that Bowman is going to win a race, and I'm saying he does it early. My early season prediction is that he is going to win at Phoenix very early on, and oh no. So I'm going to say that he wins at Phoenix. Eric Jones is going to win at Kansas. I'm going to put up a video probably right before the Daytona 500. Just my predictions overall about each race winner and just my round of 16 and then my 3 champs for Cup, Xfinity, and Truck. Right now, I'm going to say that Kyle Busch gets his second championship. I think Truex is going to give him a good fight. I think all three from Penske and Jimmy Johnson are going to be the big challengers. I think the drivers that really take a step back this year, I think Kevin Harvick is finally going to start to show his age, and I think Kyle Larson is going to have a decent year, probably win his fair share of races at Auto Club in Michigan, but I think that he's going to take a step back as well. And I also think Denny Hamlin is going to take a bit of a step back as well. Casey Kane is going to struggle in that 95, and I think it's going to be similar, not as terrible, but similar to the 15 car, when Clint Bowyer, the 15, became an H. Scott Motorsports car. I don't have any moderators. NASCAR Fan 1. 5 laps to go in this race. And I, Patrick Pinhead, joined the party, so we'll have another racer coming soon. I understand that. You're not trying to be weird. I live in New Jersey, and I've gone to the 2 most accessible racetracks before. I've been to Pocono and Dover, which I think I talked about in the last Heat 2 video. Yeah, the Skip McGinnis video. If you haven't heard that whole story, because I told you all about my incident at Pocono when I went there, and then Dover. Oh, NASCAR Fan 1, you live in Houston. How bad was the hurricane there back in August? Arkansas, so we got a lot of viewers from all over the place. Neighboring state, a border state. Pennsylvania. Las Vegas, Ohio. So as you're seeing, I mean, I don't know how clear you're seeing it, but I am not as impeccable of a racer as you may think. And the fact that I still struggle at just 100 difficulty. NASCAR Fan 1, definitely. I'm hoping to get there, and oh my goodness. Wow, and I somehow made it through that, and I'm up to 4th. But, I mean, I'm not the best racer, even though I've played NASCAR video games since probably age 5. 2 laps to go here. And whoa, man. I kind of got bumped into the wall. Now this could get a little feisty. I hope I can just clear this guy and get it over with, and I will. Yes, I have, but as a YouTuber, I'm not entitled to say how much I have. I will tell you it's less than $100, but it is something. As we race this person hard, let's see. 1 lap to go. Oh no, they're gonna both pass me in the final lap. Alright, let's see. Can we... Whoa, pass in the grass, no. Blow over in the grass, no. Just a big spin into the wall. I will finish 6th. Jim Dean wins the race. So I'm going to do 2 more races, and then 2 or 3, and then I'm going to leave the stream. Favorite driver, Martin Truex Jr., not a bandwagon jumper. I have been a fan of Truex probably, as he's from New Jersey as I am, probably ever since I got turned off from Tony Stewart after, you know, everything that happened with him a few years ago. And I moved on to Truex, and I've been a fan of him ever since back in the days of the 56. NASCAR Fan 1, Truex wins too much. I mean, this year he won 8 races, but before that, he had a decent year last year, and then 10 barely decent years. He won 3 races over his last 10 years. I think he was due for at least a couple years of success. And I mean, about winning too much, I think you can point fingers at drivers like Johnson, Keselowski, Harvick, Busch, Logano, and Hamlin, who have dominated the sport for the last decade, and probably on average win much more races per year than Truex does over the span of their careers. So this lobby getting big. We're up to 9 racers, 6 viewers right now on the live stream. Do I think that front row, well, obviously in the Progressive Cup Series they did. I think that they have a lot of promise heading into the next season. They got David Reagan and McDowell, and I think out of the lower tier racers, they are probably the 2 best. You could argue DiBenedetto, but they're probably the 2 best out there. NASCAR Fan 1, hold your horses. Truex does just have 1 championship. Johnson won 5 in a row. So unless Truex and Barney Visser are going to win 4 more consecutive championships, I don't think that's happening just yet. That would be nice as a fan of him, but anyway, so I think Reagan and McDowell have a chance. I think there's more of a chance Reagan would get a win. I think Reagan's got more of a chance of winning a race. He could probably squeeze out one of the plate races, but I think McDowell is going to have the better overall season. Hey, Freedom. So, McDowell, he's going to have the better season because, you know, he's got abilities at road courses, he's got abilities at short tracks. David Reagan disappears at tracks that aren't named Daytona or Talladega. I think they're going to have a good season, and I think they are going to surprise some people. I was about to say subscribe. Okay, so we are at Chicagoland for this one. For my last 2 races after this, I'm just going to vary things up and go to a couple different tracks. McMurray will make it to the playoffs, but I think Jamie McMurray is a talented driver, but he is not to that top level. Maybe he was right on the brink of reaching that probably almost 10 years ago now, back when he won the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard in 1 year. But he has just started to cool off. I think age is catching up to him because he does turn 40 this season. And it might be shocking that, you know, he could be considered one of the older tier of drivers now. Because now there's that next generation that is starting to get old. You had the Gordon Dale Jr., Tony Stewart that were beasts at the end of the 90s. Now you've got the people from the early 2000s, and that's not nice. Okay. You've got those people that were strong in the early 2000s. Like Johnson, Newman, Harvick, obviously Kenseth, Greg Biffle, that are starting to disappear. Jamie McMurray, drivers like McMurray and Kane and Kurt Busch are on that same level. I'm not saying that Jamie McMurray is going to retire. I'm just saying that McMurray, I think his chances at being competitive in the playoffs are really starting to dwindle with every year. I know he's on a good team, but I don't know. Next to retire, I think Jimmy Johnson is going to run until his contract expires, definitely. I think Johnson's going to run at least 2 more years, maybe 3. I think probably we're going to hear that 2020 is going to be his last season. I think between now and then he is going to get his 8th championship. I think he's the type of person that's going to try to hang around till he reaches that. But I don't think he's going to be the next to retire. Kurt Busch is signed for this year with Stewart-Haas, but has no plans afterwards. And I think if Kurt Busch starts to step back, or starts to really struggle, because he doesn't want to end his career on a ridiculous low note. But at the same time, he could end his career on a high note. He could win a couple more races. He's the defending Daytona 500 champ. Let's not forget that. And he's won, I think, 4 or 5 races over the last, 3 or 4 years, so he hasn't been terrible. So I think Kurt Busch could go after this year. And then I think over the next couple years, we're going to see kind of a lapse in that because Gordon and Earnhardt and Stewart and Kenseth and Danica. I mean, Danica doesn't fit in that same echelon because she came around much later, but was still racing around that same time. You had all the people from right around 2000 that disappeared. Couple years of not that many big names. And now that with the 20-year careers, that next couple years won't have nearly as many retirements. Then I think around 2020, maybe a little after, is when you're going to see guys like Johnson and Harvick. And there's a position. I'm going to get up to 4th. I'm going to say Johnson, Harvick, McMurray in a few years, Ryan Newman definitely. I'm just focused on big name drivers. They're the type of ones that could go probably in like 3 years. And then probably we'll have another lapse until it might seem shocking. But then we get to the drivers: Casey Kane, Denny Hamlin, Clint Boyer, Kyle Busch, Keselowski. But don't start thinking that like they're all going to retire soon, because that's still probably at the very least 7 or 8 years away. As let's see, can we get 2nd from NASCAR Jack? No, but a 3rd place is still solid. And I am going to host 2 more races. I'm going 2 more races in my choice before I turn over control to this. So just for everyone watching, just a little update on the upcoming schedule here in the channel. So, nothing tomorrow. Friday, we're going to have a couple announcements, just like a news update. Saturday, and either Friday night or Saturday, we'll have some basketball up in some form. It might be in the form of a game, might not. I don't know for sure about that. And I'm going to start trying to figure out better ways for clearer streams. And then also in that news update, I'll have anything about the Xfinity Series and a couple other big announcements about upcoming things at the Progressive Cup Series. And then Sunday will be just Race 20 at Watkins Glen, which is coming along really well. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. Even though the track doesn't necessarily look a lot like Watkins Glen. But we're going to do 2 more races now. So the first race that I'm doing, we're going road course racing. And where are we going to go? Well, since I was just talking about it, a fresh avocado. I did not just see what that question was. Maybe you could type it again. I didn't see exactly what that question was. But anyway, we're going to be going Watkins Glen to get ready for the race on Sunday in the Progressive Cup Series. And if you guys didn't see, Brad Keselowski is going to be starting on the pole. Martin Truex Jr. on his outside. This is Jack Lawton's first start in the series. Jack Lawton is a road course racer. Hey, Exploder. The next live stream will probably be in, I'd say, a week or 2. Maybe not online. It might just be Skip McGinnis career mode action, because I don't know when the next time I'm going to put that up. I might just put that in the form of a live stream, and now I know a better way to record it just from the Xbox itself instead of this, because I know it's blurry. But anyway, yeah, so he's making his first start, and then the last start of Boris Said's Cup racing career. J&B Productions, congrats on that 1.8K. Great job there. So let's see, the Glen. Now, I know Watkins Glen, I gotta be careful because I want to go easy into turn 1, because I know everybody flies into there, but at the same time, depending on where I'm starting, which is still relatively towards the front, I am right in the midst of the danger zone, and someone just blinked into disappearance. So hopefully, obviously, as always, you do need 10,000 views for monetization. As I overshoot that corner, and we are going to be racing from 6th place. Someone just got into the wall. And I'm getting into all kinds of contact. And a big contact in its battle for third in front of me between Rob Switch and Russell. Someone else going off the course. That's Ty Majeski going for a complete spin. Let's see. Battle for the lead. Because someone else blinked away about 30 seconds ago. So it's Russell, Rob Switch, and then me. And then about a second back to some William Byron. With 2 laps to go. Oh no. And I almost go up and over. And this is not going well. And I'm back to 6th place. Well. So I won the first 2 races of this stream. But in the first 2 races combined, I had the total of about 1 driver of competition. Whoops. I didn't completely see your question, Fresh Avocado. I think it was about Chris Buescher winning again. Now, that's an interesting topic, because... And now I can't drive straight. Hey, Crash. Allmendinger and Buescher. AJ Allmendinger's definitely going to win again. He is going to find his way at another road course. Chris Buescher, I don't know. He won that weird fluky thing in Pocono. Which you can barely even count as a win with Front Row Motorsports. But, I mean, he's a talented driver. But does JTG Daugherty have good enough parts that they can win in, like, a bigger situation? Hey, Tim Hortons Cup Series. Yeah, Charlotte Roval maybe, but I don't know. Is Buescher good enough? I know Buescher won at Mid-Ohio a couple years ago in a road course, and he won at Pocono, which, I mean, has some road course aspects. But is he good enough to be able to compete against Cup drivers, and especially at the Roval in a race where he's going to be racing against Cup drivers racing for a championship and with big playoff implications, where it seems like they are going twice as fast as they would on any other stage. And, whoa, man. And he did win at Iowa and Dover. And now I got a penalty. Oh, boy. Okay. Yes, he did win at Iowa and Dover, but once again, that was the Xfinity Series. And does Xfinity Series success automatically, you know, move into Cup Series success? Crash, that is a very bold prediction about the round of 8. I mean, I know you're saying that he won Dover and he could win the Roval, but I mean, JTG Daugherty, do they have the parts? Because they are almost the same level as Germain Racing and Levine Family Racing. Because they all have the Childress parts. Freedom, I'll get to that question in a moment, because that is worth quite the discussion. But that'll be my last big discussion of the night. But, I mean, the big deal with everything is that Chris Buescher and that team, they still don't really have an identity. I know they have a lot of sponsors, which is impressive on their part. Oh, and I didn't realize that. They're allied to Hendrick. Well, that might change things slightly, but regardless, I think Buescher has an opportunity, but I don't know if it would definitely come with that team. I think Allmendinger does have the capability to win with those teams. For BFB host, I'm recording on an iPhone, on a tripod, and next time I do have new directions now that I can figure out how to stream right through the Xbox. So I'm sorry about that this time, and I promise next time it will be better. So now I was just asked a question, as you'll see as I go through what the final race that I'll be hosting will be. But the one thing, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin. The chaos. Let's get into it. So, obviously, that was a big deal. So, hold on, let me change the track. We're going Daytona. We're going Firecracker. Okay, so Exploded, this is actually through the iPhone, but I think I might have the lowest setting for streaming on. I have to check on that. But regardless, I'm going to, for NASCAR, I'm going to go do it through the Xbox. I got to figure out how to do it for the NBA through the 360. Okay, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott. It was ridiculous. But I think, and Crash just made a point, and he just took the words out of my mouth. The thing that you can't forget about is all the other circumstances that happened right before this. Brad Keselowski is leading the race. Chase Elliott pretty much takes out Keselowski about 10 laps before. Now, I'm not saying Hamlin helped Keselowski because he's on Gibbs, he's on Penske, they're all crazy, they all hate each other. So, that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that Chase Elliott did the same exact thing that Denny Hamlin ended up doing to him. So you cannot put 100% of the blame on Denny Hamlin. There are some that can be put to Chase Elliott. Now, the only thing that I can favor Denny Hamlin a little more in, though, is the fact that Chase Elliott's could have been might have been a little less deliberate, and kind of I'm favoring Chase Elliott in this. Denny Hamlin, that was obvious that he just tried to wreck Chase Elliott. So I don't know exactly how to completely make this argument. I think there was fault on both sides from both of them. I just think it was very childish, the whole situation. And I think the whole thing at Phoenix, though, with Chase Elliott just completely trying to take out Denny Hamlin, is pretty much the reason that Hamlin didn't make it to the Final Four. And Denny Hamlin is a very talented driver who can win in big situations, and who knows, if he was in the championship, could he have competed with the other Toyotas? So that is an argument that could be made. But I think there was blame on both of them. That whole incident with everything, there can be blame put on Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, Brad Keselowski, Chase Elliott, and Denny Hamlin for all of the chaos that happened in the last 20 laps of that race at Martinsville. But of course, Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin took center stage. Now, some of the whole Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin reaction thing was ridiculous. The Chase Elliott fans freaking out and cheering when Denny Hamlin, booing Denny Hamlin and cheering when Chase Elliott confronted Hamlin, as I take the lead here with just 3 laps to go. And the whole thing with when the guy came up to him on pit road and called him a dirty dog, which I just think so funny and stupid at the same time. Chase Elliott is a good driver, but I don't think he's that great driver. And I think the move to of William Byron to the 24 and Elliott to the 9 just really symbolizes that. William Byron had bad luck in one race in the Truck Series in 2016, and then ended up not winning the championship, and probably would have won the championship. And I see what your point is, NASCAR fan, but he did have tons of success. He won like 6 races in the Truck Series, and then the Xfinity Series, where you've got your Cup drivers racing the Xfinity Series, which is an argument I'm not even going to get into today, which is just a whole other issue that I'm not even going to be a part of. But he was still able to go on a stretch and win 3 out of 4 races, win at Indianapolis, which is a very challenging track, win at Daytona, and win at Iowa, and win the championship. So William Byron, and oh no, let's just make sure we don't get wrecked by him. Good, he wrecked 2nd place. Okay. Yes, and that was July when he went on that 3 out of 4 or victory stretch. But I think Rick Hendrick started to realize that Chase Elliott is not the future of this team. William Byron, and possibly even Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman, when he took over that 88 for 10 races, was extraordinary. He won a pole. And every time he steps into that 88, remember even this year, at the beginning of the year in the Clash, he finished, I believe, either second or third in the race. So we will easily dominate Daytona. This team has good future, but I think Chase Elliott is not the center of that. He will be a piece, and it's not like he's cursed forever and will never win races, but he's not going to be the center of the future of this team. And Crash, I don't know if you were around when I was making some predictions for next season, and I did say that I think Alex Bowman is going to win the spring race at Phoenix, and Byron, I think Byron's going to have success, but I don't think William Byron's going to get his first win this season, but I think he will make the chase on points. I think Eric Jones is going to take his first win this year at Kansas, and I think the big people to watch will be, overall, Ryan Blaney in the 12. I think he's going to have a ton of success. I think Logano's going to bounce back. Johnson's going to bounce back. Busch and Truex will still control it. And I think Larson and Harvick are going to take a bit of a step back. And that's going to be pretty much it for this stream, so I hope you guys enjoyed. I will answer one question about Almirola very quickly. I think Eric Almirola, not a great driver. I think he's got capability to win in the future. But we'll see if I think he's going to have some success in that 10 car. Not necessarily playoff caliber. I think it's going to be similar to what Clint Boyer did this year. But yeah, so that's going to pretty much wrap up this stream. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will figure out a better way to record these next time. This is WUB Network signing off. We'll see you next time.